following is intended only for mature audiences.
Open your ears and lube up your butthole. It's time for the What Do We Call It podcast. Now, here's your host. It's Jmann. Welcome to the What Do We Call It podcast. I'm Jmann.
This is Steiny.
Hello there.
When I last left off, I was letting the audience know that my daughter is not pregnant and doesn't have a UTI, and that she's going to have surgery to have her appendix removed, and I'm waiting on the beast to come to the hospital so we can fight in person. Now let's pick up where I left off.
The beast
Now knows what's up, and she's on her way.
Okay.
And she asks, and I quote, "Is there anything I can bring her that she wants me to bring her for comfort?" I'm like, boy, I don't know. I'll get back to you. And then I hang up because she's going to go home and change, and then, I'm supposed to let her know what to bring.
Okay.
I get off the phone and I turn to my daughter. I'm like, you have no idea how bad I wanted to say, bring her the Nintendo Switch. She wants to play Mario Kart 8. Why is that funny? Do you recall why?
I don't remember why. I wish I did.
Because after Christmas in 2020,
Okay.
their Nintendo Switch went missing.
Yep.
And we've never gotten a straight answer as to what happened to it. If
The beast
pawned it for meth, or her boyfriend took it and traded it for meth, or what the fuck.
I do kind of remember this now, yeah. It took me a second to remember that it went missing a couple years back. Yep.
Yeah. So I said it to my daughter, who laughed her ass off. She thought it was too good of a joke to pass up.
Even
Right.
with, everything going on.
Yeah. So I sent a text to
the beast.
basically at my daughter's request, and I mentioned the joke, knowing it'll piss her off. And it did. Big time. And she was all, what the fuck is wrong with you to joke about something so fucked up at a time like this? And I'm like, what's so fucked up? That you let your ex-boyfriend, the meth head, throat choker, pawn our kid's video game system for drugs?
Yeah. Yeah, that might have been a bit aggressive in the response, but still. Funny.
Well, I also let her know, I'm like, by the way, when you get here, if you like, I can have the doctor repeat to you what she just said to me. The surgeon states I didn't almost kill her, and she was never in any danger of it bursting. We caught it plenty early, so you can back the fuck off me right now with this medical negligence bullshit that you think you're going to put up this whole dog and pony show to make me look bad when I'm not. Because one thing she doesn't count on is when somebody thinks they have all this evidence against you and they're going to fuck your life up, and they don't factor in that you're going to be on the stand yourself. And
Right.
even if you get cross-examined, they're going to ask you questions. Am I stupid or am I kind of smart?
Kind of smart.
Am I articulate or am I a fucking moron?
Compared to most, you're quite articulate.
So I know how to say what I need to say, not only to get my point across and exonerate myself, but to get some fucking stingers in there too and embarrass the fucking opposing counsel like I did in our custody trial.
Yeah.
Because I don't appreciate somebody whose win-loss record's on the line when we're talking about my kids. Fuck you and fuck trying to come at me. So I will eviscerate whoever the hell wants to sit there and be like, you didn't take her in and you wouldn't let her mother take her either. I'm like, well, I didn't think it was enough of a situation, and I actually have training in that shit, not just in college, but the 11 years I was a correctional officer, where you might want to point out that we didn't have a full-time nurse, and when she wasn't around, the guards were the on-site medical staff.
Right. What I think is interesting about this situation, and I see parallels in other people that I know, is there's some people that they're so caught up in the battle, they only see what the other person is doing, and they are somehow completely blind to what they themselves have done, what they have said, the negatives that they have put out there. I mean, for her to sit there and think, oh, I've got all this evidence on him, it'll be a slam dunk. If I take him to court, he's so in trouble. It's like, have you completely forgot about all the fucking shit you've pulled, all the shit you've said? You know what I mean? Like, how do you not...
The police reports, the other people like my wife and my parents that are sitting here that will say to her, hey, you have fucked up, and your daughter has told us she's scared of you, and she's afraid to report you because she thinks it'll get worse.
Yeah. And all this other stuff you think you have on him doesn't matter because of what you have been doing. All the stuff that you complain about him, you've been doing worse. So why would we look at him as being incapable or giving you more rights? Why would we? You know, like it just seems obvious.
So, yeah, I mean,
The beast
can go ahead with her CPS threat, but there's direct witness, my daughter, to the contradiction of her unnecessary panic. And then she gets there, and she's a cunt.
Of course.
But I kill her with kindness.
Oh.
And they whisk our daughter away, and then
The beast
and I are in the waiting room, and we got into it like immediately. She goes in with the neglect shit again, and I should have let her go to the ER, and that, you know, she wanted the cops to come talk to me. I'm like, well, but they never showed up. Did you call them? She's like, I had my mom call. I'm like, oh, so you know that you can't call because of the 100 and God knows how many fucking pages of police reports that show that you're batshit crazy and all the behavior you constantly exhibit everywhere where people are like, she's fucking nuts.
Right.
Like, what the fuck? So you had your mom call so they wouldn't have to go, oh, she's nuts? Yeah, well, nobody called me, so they must not have thought it was credible.
Right.
But kudos for trying to rope your mom into this shit.
Right.
Shut your mouth, you stupid bitch.
And then, you know what? She is fucking goading me. She's like, don't talk to me right now. All right, or I'll get a restraining order. And I got up in her face, and I grabbed a packet she was reading out of her hands, and I'm like, fucking do it, bitch. I dare you. Because I will sit there and tell them what a goddamn holy terror you are, and all the police reports that you think they're not going to care about, to illustrate your behavior as to why you are exacerbating things by constantly saying I'm harassing you when I simply try to stick up for me when you're shitting all over me is going to make you look more crazy. And I gave it back, and she walked away.
Yeah.
So she comes back in. I'm like, so again, you're on this CPS trip, and you think you're going to get, what, the kids taken from me because I'm a piece of shit? So what is it you're going to do? She's like, you'll see.
Oh, one of those.
Yeah.
So she's got nothing, but yeah.
And it's just like, again, she reiterates that she had her mom call, which is just such a chicken shit move. So the surgery goes well. Mm-hmm. She's in the recovery room.
Yep.
They're waiting to get her a room upstairs,
An
which
actual-
took fucking forever.
Yep.
Took like 40 more minutes.
Well, because they got to kick the old guy out who died or something.
It is 1:30 in the goddamn morning when she went into surgery.
Yeah.
It is now fucking 2:30 or so. And the surgery was like crazy fast.
Sure.
And they did the laparoscopic.
Laparoscopy. Yep. They'll make a couple incisions. Yep.
So we go upstairs, and
The beast
is like, okay, so there's only the one couch. So are you going to sleep in the chair? I'm like, I'm not staying. I'm going home. Oh, fuck you for leaving me with this. So you want custody, you can handle it all, but you're just going to bail right now? I'm like, she's doped up and fine. You got a nurse right there. You're going to sit here. I did the heavy lifting today. Well, because you wouldn't let me do it. I'm like, I can't trust you to do it because you're such a fucking screwball, and you fly off the handle, and you go to this nth degree of worry, and everything is, the sun is fucking exploding in the sky. Get over yourself. I'm going home to sleep in my bed. I'll be back in the morning.
Yeah.
So I did. And I come back. And my daughter is like, they told me that I can't go to school for a week. And the nurse is like, well, we said that you probably shouldn't go, but you don't have to go.
Okay.
She's like, well, I need to go. I can't miss the first day.
Oh, yeah, because that was that weekend. Yeah.
Yeah. So now our whole fucking fun weekend is shot in the ass.
Yeah.
And I sent the juice to her friend's house, who'd given the situation, the mom was like, and I'm really cool with the mom, and this is one of her best friends. Yeah. She can stay. You can come pick her up tomorrow.
Awesome.
Yeah. I'm at the hospital. It's time to discharge her.
The beast
is going to leave. She's going to go home, and I don't know what.
Right.
Take a shower, and then she's got to work. Super nice nurse comes in, explains that when we get home, you know, they're dissolvable sutures. There's glue over them that'll fucking go away.
Yep.
The doctor will call in a few days to do a follow-up. Don't need to go in for an appointment.
No. Yeah, you shouldn't. Unless there's problems, right? That's the only thing they tell you.
I told the beast this.
Yeah.
She forgot it 3 separate times.
What the fuck?
Meth-soaked brain, bro.
I was gonna say, how
She
high
fucking
was
did
she?
brain damage.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so you're going to get her ready to leave. Yeah, we're going to help her get dressed. I'll bring her downstairs in a wheelchair, meet us at the curb.
Yeah.
I figure I got, at least 6-7 minutes. There's a Target right by there. I buzz over quick. I buy her a book. Just something, because she's going to be laid up.
Yeah. Versus buying something at the hospital in their stupid little gift shop.
They got downstairs in like 3 minutes flat.
Jesus.
So she's like, where are you? And I'm caught in line in the fucking self-checkout.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I get back there. I take her. It's like a fucking 98-degree day.
Oh, yeah, it was hot.
It was fucking crazy hot that day. We go pick up the juice. We go home. Rest of the weekend is fine. I get her the meds that she fucking needs, and we go about helping her. And it's hard going, from prone to standing, but she's trying, and she's on pain meds. I told her, I'm like, we can fill this prescription for oxycodone, or you can try only ibuprofen, which is what I did with my hernia surgery. Now, I'm tougher than you. I know how to handle it. You might not be able to, but I was cut open and you technically weren't.
Yeah. They just went in with some probes.
Yeah, and they went like here in the middle of her abdomen and to the side, and then her belly button.
Yeah, because they need 2 to cut and 1 for the scope.
But I've never seen it right on the belly button.
I've heard of that because the scar tissue is more hidden then.
Yeah.
Yeah. That you don't actually get a scar as much. Yeah.
And I let her sleep on my old mattress in the living room. I set that up for her there because she wasn't going to get in and out of her bed.
Oof. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. We don't fill the oxycodone. She says she'll try it. And then the next day, she goes to the first day of school and says, she calls
The Beast.
and says, I need the meds. And
The Beast
is calling me like, she needs the meds. Here's another fun thing with CVS. My daughter cannot swallow pills, or she's not tried.
Okay, so you're thinking you might have to get a liquid or a suspension or something like that. Yep.
And I call these fuckers, and he's like, I'm out of it.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I'm like,
Of course, right? That's how life works.
Yeah, and then I try to call the other CVS in town, but they closed for the day because I didn't call them in time.
Okay.
And the Beast is up my ass about it. Like, here you are not handling it. You said you'd handle it. Why couldn't you just let me handle it? Well, because adults need to fucking take control of the situation and talk to the other adults about important shit, not you sitting there, I don't know, you're nervous. How many times did you have your mom help you do your taxes or take your taxes in for you or do this, that, or the other for you?
Right. She can't even adult properly.
So you're saying I'm not letting you do enough, but historically, you've never really done anything. And I could let her fucking figure it out, but this is not a situation where I want my daughter to suffer. Well, she doesn't fucking know what's going on. She's like, well, how do you not know how to get the meds from the pharmacy? They didn't have the liquid. He says the dosage is different. I don't know. So now we have some old oxycodone here, I realize. It's the same fucking dosage as on the paperwork of the prescription. It was either a certain amount of milliliters of liquid or 5 milligrams.
Yep.
I want to give it to her, but I'm like, it's not hers. It was issued to my wife after she had her gallbladder out when she was pregnant with our son.
Okay. Yeah, either way, after surgery for pain.
Well, that was 2019, so they've been sitting around here for, 4 fucking years.
I always wonder about the efficacy of medications afterward, and I wonder if the expiration date is just BS or if it actually does start to go bad, but I digress.
Well, how many other things do these fucking pharmaceutical companies lie about so they can get more money?
Exactly, and that's the thing, is if you put a best by date on it, it might still be working, but because you put that on there, people are going to throw it away and get new stuff. So yeah, you just keep your supply.
And my daughter's infamous for doing that because
The Beast
is always like, the milk says it expired 2 days ago. I'm like, no, that's the sell-by date.
Yes.
It's good for another week or until it stinks.
Yeah.
Fucking settle down.
Test it, smell it. If it smells bad, don't drink it. If it smells fine, it's fine.
Yeah. So her mom has some oxycodone from breaking her wrist recently.
Oh.
And I'm like, okay, so you want to give her your mom's meds? Well, yeah, because she needs them. Okay. I was going to suggest something similar. So if we're on the same page, nobody's trying to fuck anybody.
Because, yeah, that could be one person really fucking over the other person, to be honest with you, because now you're giving my kid non-prescribed drugs, especially controlled substances.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I made
The Beast
go pick it up. I made
The Beast
bring it over. I made
The Beast
give it to her.
Attaboy.
Yeah, but I also cut it in half. Because even though it said 5, I wanted to be safe. So she's still in pain, and she goes
to The Beasts.
She skips the second day of school. She's in pain.
Mm-hmm.
Whatevs. The funny thing is I'm still needing to get more oxycodone because we only got 2 pills from her mom. That's 4 doses. We have to alternate the Tylenol, the ibuprofen, the oxycodone. Yep. I don't want her doped out of her mind or overpowering her liver.
Right. And it is good to use these things in conjunction because you don't want to create either dependency or an immunity to the effects of any one of them, right? You don't want them to lose their efficacy. That's why I don't take a lot of Aleve at one time. I don't give a lot of the pain meds all at one time to avoid that same problem. Anyway.
So now I got to deal with this fucking pharmacy bullshit again. I think to myself, okay, so The other pharmacy in town can get her the pills, but they're out. We can wait a day, see if they get their order in. I call back to the original pharmacy and talk to the doctor. Well, just for the record, he is Indian.
Okay.
He's a very kind gentleman, but apparently he doesn't think on his feet too quickly, because I said to him, sir, do you think that we could do a dosage equivalency or something? Because we had to do this last time with a fucking antibiotic for the juice.
Okay.
And he's like, I'm out. And then I brought the prescription to the other CVS, where the giant mountain of a man that's built like your old roommate,
You told me this story, yeah.
he figured that shit out and did a dosage equivalency. So now I'm talking to the Indian doctor, and he's like, well, I mean, it does say 5 milligrams on there like you stated, so I could give her the 5 milligrams, but I don't know, because it's supposed to be so many dosages for so much. I'm like, dude, just give us 10. That's it, just 10. You're giving us 10. I'm not taking them. I'm not selling them. She needs them.
Right.
Hell, even if you give us 5, I don't fucking care. I'm going to cut them in half anyway.
Right.
So I come through. I get the meds. He does the thing. You know, I followed through and figured out a path to achieving our goal. But the whole time I'm doing this, instead of getting the support or being asked what the status update is, I'm being told what a piece of shit I am for leaving this and why didn't you handle it? I'm like, I can't make them answer the phone when they're on their lunch break if I'm on my lunch break, and that's the only time I have all day during work to fucking call them, dingbat. I got to wait till I get done and hope they're not closed yet. But anyways, I figured it out. I had even made special arrangements with the school, emailing them of what was up. She's going to be on no gym, no running, no jumping for weeks, like 2 or 3 weeks. And we get through all that. And I have to tell my son, you can't fucking wrestle with your sister for
Stay
a
off
while.
her. Yeah.
So if you jump on her, I'm going to spank you so hard your butt's going to fall off. Because you will really hurt her. We'll have to go to the hospital. Okay, Dad, I won't wrestle with her. I'm like, that's good. Don't ask her to kiss your wiener either. And she gets through a few weeks, and she's fine now. But the point I want to circle back to now at the end of this episode is all the bullshit I put up with. And yes, I could have let
The beast
take her. But there's no telling if she would have gone to the ER at Mercy. And I'm like, I don't want her going because it's a Friday night and there's going to be Elkies there because there's no drunk tank nearby. There's going to be fucking COVID cases, and that hospital's just dirty now. It's barely any better than the one in Robbinsdale.
Yep.
I forget, was that, which one is that?
Abbott Northwest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
It's hardly better than that
Yeah.
fucking shithole.
Yeah, down off of Broadway.
So I did what I could do. My wife helped me find the one facility. I had to work with what I had to work with. Went to the hospital. I fucking handled all this shit. And just to still be, at this point, a month later, still hit with, well, you know, the whole appendix thing didn't have to go like that. You could have let me take her. And it's like, hey, how about you stop fucking screaming at her? Because I don't want to just say you did this. It could just be that it's genetic because a lot of people lose their appendix.
Yeah.
It just happens. But all the stress she's under from you could not have helped. So something that might have been borderline, I'm pretty sure, I'm fairly confident, even though I'm not a doctor, that all of the treatment that she has to deal with over there exacerbated the situation to the point where it became emergent.
Yeah. I guess you could look at the dark side of it and go, well, because of the situations with her mom, and at least it presented itself now, and that won't be an issue for the rest of her life, or something that might be, something that could flare up and potentially be dangerous later on. But that's a backwards way of looking at it, right? I mean, completely backwards.
So here's some lighthearted shit just to kind of end it on a good one. Interesting notes. The juice wasn't sure whether or not the appendix would grow back.
Okay.
And I'm like, no. The appendix is an organ that they don't really know what it does anymore. They're not sure. It aids in like bile distribution and such.
System, yeah.
But they don't know why we still have them. Just like we used to have tails, but now we don't have tails. And also my stepdaughter who asked if she could catch it like it was contagious.
Oh.
And we had a good laugh at that. And then my wife is like, that's not nice. She doesn't know. I'm like, I know, but it's still funny. It's cute because she doesn't know. But I mean, I'm not saying she's a fucking idiot. I get it.
But sometimes kids ask that question because they really don't know, and other kids don't know either. So it's kind of a good way to get that information out there too.
Yeah.
Like maybe when the other kids didn't know, and now they'll know as well.
I just think it's funny that she thought appendicitis was like AIDS on a toilet seat in a public restroom in the 1980s.
Yeah.
Which I'm being facetious because you could not get AIDS off a public restroom toilet seat. in the 80s or the 90s or today, unless you have an open cut and somebody with AIDS bled on the toilet seat, and then that blood with their AIDS in it got right on your wound.
Into your bloody anus.
Yeah.
But for those who don't know, that was a big scare back in the 80s, that you could catch AIDS in all these different ways that were not true. And that was like the scare tactics used a lot.
Yeah, sharing utensils, drinking glasses, kissing, hugging, being too close.
Right.
Okay, so before we get out of here, I still have not addressed this. I keep kicking the can down the road. You asked me, with all the shit that
The Beast
was putting our daughter through, if things got better.
Yes.
So here's the deal. They got a little better in the few days after the open house incident where she said, I can't do this anymore. I don't even want to be a mom. I'm ready to sign my rights away.
Right.
And like our daughter heard her say that, and that was bad. So I think she was playing like I'm sorry nice. But then keep in mind that like 3 or 4 days later, the kid ended up getting her appendix out, and she was too busy being mad at me to do much reparative work on her bond with our daughter. I mean, she was kind of babying her some after the hospital, but even after that, they were still, at least once, maybe twice a week getting into it. So I'm going to air quote it. Things have gotten better, but there's at least 1 or 2 other instances where I went and picked her up and she spent the night here. Or there was one instance where I had to call the police and be like, hey, shit's getting pretty hectic over there again. So, it is what it is.
Well, that brings us to the end of this 2-parter, and I hopefully you've enjoyed all this fun shit that had to do with my kid being emotionally traumatized by her bitch-ass mom and then losing an internal organ probably because of it.
Aw, bitch.
Interact with the show on Twitter at What Do We Call It? That is at What Do We Call It? You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/group/What Do We Call It? Podcast show. For the What Do We Call It podcast, I'm Jmann.
I'm Steiny.
And that's the end.